Hey y'all, so I know it's been a long time since I've had a video go up. I don't think I've had a single one go up in 2021. I've just had a lot of stuff going on in my life, new job, new dog, whole kinds of stuff, but we're just gonna jump right back into the videos like nothing happened. So today is my May TBR. My TBR is definitely very ambitious, and I don't think that I'll finish all of these, but there's a lot of books that I've gotten recently that I'm really excited for, including some from the library, so we'll just get right into it. So the first one is Wildwood by Colin Meloy, illustrated by Carson Ellis. I believe this is a middle grade book. And the back says, Prue McKeel's life is ordinary. That is, until her brother is abducted by a murder of crows and taken into the impassable wilderness, a dense, tangled forest on the edge of Portland. No one's ever gone in, or at least returned to tell of it. So begins an adventure that will take Prue and her friend Curtis deep into the impassable wilderness. They will uncover a secret world in the midst of violent upheaval, a world full of warring creatures, peaceable mystics, and powerful figures with the darkest intentions. And what begins as a rescue mission becomes something much greater as the two friends find themselves entwined in a struggle for the very freedom of this wilderness, a wilderness the locals called Wildwood. So it sounds really, really good. It sounds like mystical, like deep dark forest vibes, and that is everything that I love, and I'm really, really hoping I enjoy it. The pages are deckled, and some of the illustrations are super pretty, so I'm really excited to get to this one. I actually just got this from half price. So the next couple are library books. So the first one is The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her. This is a thriller, and she is also the author of The Silence of Bones, so this is her second book that come out. This actually just came out, I think, in the past month. And the description says, The forest watches me, hostile and still, with remembering eyes. 1426, Josan. Juani's family has never been the same since she and her younger sister went missing and were later found unconscious in the forest near a gruesome crime scene. Years later, Detective Min, Juani's father, learns that 13 girls have recently disappeared from the same forest that nearly stole his daughters. He travels to their hometown on the island of Jeju to investigate, only to vanish as well. Determined to find her father and solve the case that tore the family apart, Juani returns home to pick up the trail. As she digs into the secrets of the small village and collides with her now estranged sister, Maywol, and again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of these, Juani comes to realize that the answer could lie within her own buried memories of what happened in those forests all those years ago. Again, another dark, deep forest kind of vibe, and I'm here for it. Honestly, this was more of a cover pick. As you can see, the cover is, like, absolutely stunning. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to get to this one. And the next one is one I've been seeing a lot of people talk about. That is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. Again, another one from the library. I know this one's supposed to be, I believe, like, dark academia, I believe. So I guess I'll read what it's about. Oh, our story begins in 1902 at Brookhant's School for Girls. Flo and Clara, two impressionable students, are obsessed with each other and a daring young writer named Mary McLean, the author of a scandalous best-selling memoir. To show their devotion to Mary, the girls establish their own private club and call it the Plain Bad Heroines Society. They meet in secret in a nearby apple orchard, the setting of their wildest happiness and ultimately of their macabre deaths. This is where their bodies are later discovered with a copy of Mary's book splayed beside them, the victims of a swarm of stinging, angry yellow jackets. Less than 5 years later, the Brookhant's School for Girls closes its doors forever, but not before 3 more girls mysteriously die on the property, each in a most troubling way. Over a century later, the now abandoned and crumbling Brookhant's is back in the news when wonderkind writer Merritt Emmons publishes a breakout book celebrating the queer feminist history surrounding the haunted and cursed Gilded Age institution. Her best-selling book inspires a controversial horror film adaptation starring celebrity actor and lesbian it girl Harper playing the ill-fated heroine Flo, opposite B-list actress and former child star Audrey Wells as Clara. But as Brookhant's opens its gates once again and our 3 modern heroines arrive on the set to begin filming, past and present become grimly entangled, or perhaps just grimly exploited, and soon it's impossible to tell when the curse leaves off and Hollywood begins. Okay, so this isn't exactly what I was expecting after reading the description, but I'm still pretty excited about it. I gotta be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a DNF because I don't like a lot of stuff like having to do with like Hollywood and stuff like that, but I'm still gonna give it a try because I've been hearing really good things about it, so. The next one is one I've heard absolutely no one talk about that looks absolutely stunning. So this is called In the Garden of Spite, The Black Widow of Porte by Camilla Bruce. The cover is, I mean, wow. Like, I almost bought this one at Barnes & Noble, I'm not gonna lie. But I could only afford one book, and you'll see the other one I chose later. So this one, an audacious novel of feminine rage in one of the most prolific female serial killers in American history, and the men who drove her to it. They whisper about her in Chicago. Men come to her with their hopes, their dreams, and their fortunes, but no one sees them leave. No one sees them at all after they come to call on the widow of LaPorte. The good people of Indiana may have their suspicions, but if these fools knew what she'd given up, what was taken from her, how she'd suffered, surely they'd understand. Belle Gunness learned a long time ago that a woman has to make her own way in this world. That's all it is, a bloody means to an end. A glorious enterprise meant to raise her from the bleak, colorless drudgery of her childhood to the life she deserves. After all, vermin always survive. And that is all it says. The writer is Camilla Bruce. I don't know if she has any other books. She is a Norwegian writer, and she usually apparently writes speculative and historical fiction. So that kind of makes sense with, you know, what she's writing here. This has been blurred by people like Alex E. Harrow, Caitlin Starling, and Joanne Harris. So I'm pretty excited for this one. Again, the cover is beautiful. And I'm kind of excited for, like, I believe there's, like, true elements of history written in there. So yeah, no one's talked about this, but let me know if you've read this, at least no one that I've seen. Let me know if you've read this and what your thoughts on it were, because I'm pretty excited to get to this one. The last library book is Dark of the West by Joanna Hathaway. I saw Elliot Brooks talk about this one, and this is how I heard of it. So this one, Aurelia, I'm going to mispronounce all of these names. Aurelia Ascender is a princess of a small kingdom in the north, raised in privilege but shielded from politics. Athen Dakar is the youngest son of a ruthless general and a skilled fighter pilot longing for a life away from the front lines. When Athen's mother is assassinated, his father is convinced it's the work of his old rival, Aurelia's mother. Determined to avenge the murder, Athen goes undercover in the small northern kingdom to spy on his enemy's daughter, but his mission is compromised when both princess and pilot begin to fall for each other, a love that threatens their parents' designs for revenge. So again, Elliot said that the romance, although it sounds like it's going to be super prominent, really isn't, and that it's a lot of, like, political stuff. So I'm hesitantly excited for this one. I am into books with, like, a political, like, focus, but they do tend to, like, take me a while to get through, and I really don't want to get put back in a slump, because I was pretty much in a slump from the months of, like, January to March. So yeah, I'm really hoping to like this one, but if I don't, I probably will put it down pretty quickly if it starts to make me slump. So the next four are books I actually bought in the past month because I was so excited about them. So the first one is a recent release, and I've only seen, like, one other person talk about this, Books with Brittany. The Helm of Midnight by Marina Lostetter. I mean, look at this cover. Like, I don't know what it is with like the horror, thriller, dark academia books lately, but the covers are freaking amazing. And also, what actually convinced me to buy it, even after reading the description and seeing the cover, and was like, oh, that sounds cool. Andrea Stewart, the author of The Bone Shard Daughter, blurred this, and she said, bloody, ambitious, and absolutely riveting. So I'm pretty excited. The description. A legendary serial killer stalks the streets of a city shrouded in darkness and secrets in the stunning first novel in a new trilogy from acclaimed author Marina Lostetter. In a daring and deadly heist, thieves have made away with an artifact of terrible power, the death mask of Louis Charbon. Made by a master craftsman, it is imbued with the spirit of a monster from history, a serial murderer who terrorized the city. Now Charbon is loose once more, killing from beyond the grave. But these murders are different from before, not simply random, but the work of a deliberate mind probing for answers to a sinister question. Krona Hirvath and her fellow regulators must enter the mind of madness to stop the insatiable killer while facing the terrible truths left in his wake. And Marina Lostetter also wrote Numenon, and a sequel to that book as well. I think I pronounced that right. I don't know. But I'm really excited for this one. Again, I don't know what it is with me and serial killers this month, but I'm just really excited for this. The cover is stunning, and I'm really excited to see how I enjoy it. Okay, so the last three are another, like, I think it's a trilogy that I'm excited about. This is one I've heard a little bit about, but, like, I don't really see anything in videos. More, it's, like, kind of bigger on Goodreads. This is the Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart. This is a romance author that I haven't read anything by, and I honestly just took the plunge and bought the physical books because I'm kind of that sure that I'll like it. So the first one is Flock, and again, these covers are so beautiful. The second one is Exodus, and the last one is The Finish Line. I'm really excited for these ones. This will probably be like a weekend binge. Let me know if you guys want me to vlog that. I'm going to start putting up videos more regularly now that I'm in like a flow with work. And honestly, in a romance series, I don't tend to read the description very often, but here's the first book in case you're interested. Can you keep a secret? I grew up sick. Let me clarify. I grew up believing that real love stories include a martyr or demand great sacrifice to be worthy. Because of that, I believed it. Because I made myself believe it, and I bred the most masochistic of romantic hearts, which resulted in my illness. When I lived this story, my own twisted fairy tale, it was unbeknownst to me at the time because I was young and naive. I gave into temptation and fed the beating beast, which grew thirstier with every slash, every strike, every blow. Triple Falls wasn't at all what it seemed, nor were the men that swept me under their wing. But in order to keep them, I had to be in on their secrets. Secrets that cost everything to keep. That's the novelty of fiction versus reality. You can't relive your own love story because by the time you've realized you're living it, it's over. At least that was the case for me and the men I trusted my foolish heart to. Looking back, I'm convinced I willed my story into existence due to my illness, and all were punished. This is supposed to be like really emotional. It's supposed to be very bingeable, and honestly that's kind of what I'm looking for right now, is just something that'll really hold my interest all the way through. Romance always tends to be a genre that kind of wins for me, so I am very excited to get to the Ravenhood trilogy by Kate Stewart. Again, she is an author I haven't read before, but she is pretty popular, especially in like KU, and a lot of like romance readers here on YouTube also talk about her a lot. So that is my May TBR. Let me know what you guys are reading this month, and if there's any book on my TBR that maybe you hadn't heard of that I had introduced you to. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, I'm so sorry for the break. But I should be posting more regularly going forward now. I don't see another job change coming. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.